The one thing you'll need to get really good at is forming the habit of how to use your willpower. Regardless of whatever it is that you want to achieve today, every day, you'll need to get really good at using your willpower. The reason for that is your willpower is limited. Today, in this 24 hours, you're going to probably want to do 101 things, and you're going to have to think and focus on what's the one thing that you want to achieve over everything else. What's one thing that you would love to achieve today? And it's going to require willpower. The thing is, willpower is very limited. And if you haven't formed a habit of how to use willpower effectively on a high level, what's going to end up happening is you're going to spend most of your time drifting. Because if you're not focused, you're drifting. And what is drifting? Doom scrolling through social media, worrying about what tomorrow is going to bring to you, worrying about what other people think about where you are, worrying about a lot of things that drifters do. Worry. And worrying is habitual, because what's right next to worrying? A lot of times it's fear. And habitually you're choosing fear over faith when you should be choosing faith over fear. You're choosing fear over faith when you should be choosing courageous faith over fear. Because let's face it, fear for a lot of people, including you and me, it's automatic when you plan to step outside of your comfort zone, when you plan to do something outside of your comfort zone. Because what it takes to achieve a high energy reality that you plan to achieve, it takes willpower. And what goes with high energy achievement is high energy willpower. Remember again, part of willpower is focus, and focus is very important. To form the habit of seeing the value in direction is to see that your direction is the star of every second of every moment. Direction is the star of every moment, because direction is who you are. Direction is who we all are. If you look at anyone's life and you really study their life, pay close attention to the actions they are giving in their life, you'll see if they are using purposeful direction or if they're drifting. Randomly, you can look at anyone's life and see they're doing one of two things: being driven in a direction, or they're drifting. One of these two things. Direction demands focus from you. And even though you may want to achieve 101 things today, let's face it, there's only a certain amount of minutes in every hour, only a certain amount of hours in every day. There is 60 minutes in every hour, and there's only 24 hours in the day. And because there are things that we are all obligated to do today, if we have bills and other responsibilities, it's going to require time from us. And if you want to do anything additional to the things that you're obligated to do, it's going to require willpower. And using willpower takes focus, and focus is listening. Focus is consistency with excellence to achieve your priority task for today. And if you look at your list of things you want to achieve today, you need to get really good at choosing the number one thing that you would love to achieve today. Because when you get really good at achieving the number one thing and choosing the number one thing to achieve today, what's going to end up happening is you're going to see how important it is to get to the point of an obsession level with achieving your number one thing for the day. Because if you're not obsessed about one thing, the things that matter most in your life, what's going to end up happening is you're going to automatically be choosing things that matter least. And the order of priority to achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve, whether it's to find an additional stream of income, whether it's to lose weight or get better at being focused, whatever your number one thing is, it's going to require you to use willpower. One of the things that I do that helps me is whatever it is that I plan to achieve, I can look at it in 3-minute increments. I can look at giving it my undivided attention for 3 minutes. And when I reach that 3 minutes, then I can focus on the next 3 minutes. Is something that I heard and apply whenever it's needed to be applied. And it's, I see only my objective, therefore all obstacles give way. I see only my objective, therefore all obstacles give way. Because remember that you're either in the driving seat of your life or you're in the passenger seat. Drifting, having drifting thoughts drive you around. And the thing is, you want to be in the driver's seat of your life, because direction is the star of this moment. Your direction is the star of this moment. And if you want to know what it is that you're doing or what it is that you're planning to do with the action that you're given, look at the direction that you're going in. Are you being driven because you're in the driver's seat of your life? Because you see the steering wheel as your direction towards you driving towards achieving your number one priority task for today? Or are you being in the passenger seat, being driven by life's events, being driven by ideas of drifting about what tomorrow is going to bring, drifting about thoughts of wishing things would be easier, while you doom scroll through social media, while you doom scroll through fearful ideas in your life, fearful things where a lot of the things probably won't even happen. If you're drifting right now, remember, we're only guaranteed today. And that's why I named this channel Guaranteed Today. We're only guaranteed today. And the more time you spend drifting is the more time you spend away from achieving your number one priority task for today. Because let's face it, direction is the star of your moment, every moment. That's what direction is. Direction is the star of our moment. And remember, even though direction is the star of your moment, direction only shows you what it is that you're doing, what you're bringing into your life. If you pay attention, you'll see that direction is showing you whether you're drifting or whether you're being driven through purposeful action. The purposeful action that you demand starts to happen for you. The action of purposefully achieving your priority number one task. That is why you studying direction being the star of every moment of your life is when you start seeing how powerful direction is in your life. Your direction is more important than speed, because to think wrongly is to think that the faster you move, the more you're able to achieve what you want to achieve. But without purposefully aiming for an achievement, you can be moving fast and worrying about, is this what I should be really doing? Is this the number one task I should really be achieving today? Well, that's one way to look at what direction is doing in your life. Remember that direction is a star of your life every moment, every second of every moment. Direction is the star of your life every second of every moment. And when you look at direction being the star of your life, you look at the actions that you're giving towards this moment. And when you look at the action you're giving towards this moment, you'll see, are you worrying about if this is a task that you should be achieving for today? Or are you worrying about, will it be good enough? Are you worrying about external events that you have no control over? And if you're worrying about certain things, take back control of the steering wheel of the direction of your life and start speaking this into your reality. I see only my objective, therefore all obstacles give way. And remember the two most powerful words that you can use, because they're what creates reality. The two words, I am. I am using the direction of my life to achieve my number one priority task. I am praying to the God force that's present in my life and around my life for direction as I aim purposefully to achieve my number one priority task for today. That's very important, because willpower will listen to the direction through prayer. Ask God, what is it that I should be aiming for in my life right now? See, because a lot of people, they give attention only to God when it's a life or death situation. That's not the best way to have a strong relationship with God, because there are things that we are able to see, and there are invisible things. There are invisible things, invisible realities that we plan to bring into our present realities. And when you have God be the force that's strongly happening in your life, you know that God is not just a thought, an idea. It's the most powerful force of energy in the universe. And that's why it's important to use courageous faith in your life, because there are things that's going to try to make you become afraid, that you spend most of your time worrying, fearful that it may not happen, that maybe you'll come up short this time, that maybe what happened last time is going to happen again this time. You're going to almost achieve your priority task today. You're going to almost get started on what matters most to you in your life today. And that's really not the way to really use the direction in your life. The most powerful thing that you can do, which is give attention to the direction, which is the star of every moment. Because remember that what controls your attention controls your life. And that's why it's important for you to give direction the starring role that it deserves. Because direction is the star of your moment. Direction is the star of every second in your life. And that's why it's important to allowing things to happen. You want to be the change you desire to see? Use direction. Believe that you can start being the change in order to see the change. Using your willpower demands that you understand how willpower works, because a lot of times, habitually, the habits that you've already formed, you can be busy thinking too much about when to get started, about what to get started on. And if you haven't formed the habit of making a list of the things that matters most to you that you would love to achieve today, form the habit of writing down on paper with pen the important things that matter most to you, of being in good shape, of feeling healthy, of having enough money to not have to worry about money anymore every month, whatever that amount of money is. And if it requires you adding an additional stream of income, get it done. Because what ends up happening when you have an additional stream of income in your life, you don't have to rely on just that one form of income. Because when you have one form of income, you know the hours that you work and you know what you normally get every week, every 2 weeks, every month when you have that income, working a job from the hours that you work. You see that you expect a certain result when you work a certain amount of hours. And with that certain result, you know that you're going to get a certain amount of income. There are ways for you to add additional form of income on the internet. When you add an additional form of income, even if it's just one additional stream of income, now you have 2 additional stream of income. Well, if you say, well, I want to have 3 additional streams of income, is that doable? Of course it is. And you have 3 additional stream of income. Using your brain, which is what your brain is made for you to use it, using it consciously, you're able to see that having 2 or even 3 additional stream of income coming in, now you're able to do more with 3 additional stream of income, and you don't have to really stress too much about 1 stream of income that you have. So just remember how important willpower is. If you look at willpower as a muscle, the more you build willpower, the more you study and understand willpower, the more powerful you will be. Because every habit that we formed, it was something that took mental energy. We didn't understand certain things, not understanding how to read, how to listen at a high level, but you understood how to read, even though it was challenging. If you think back, it was challenging how certain words were formed, how to add different numbers, 2100 times 434. Going back to the fundamentals of learning brand new things, such as learning how to use your willpower, such as learning how to focus on a higher level so that you can focus long enough to achieve your priority task for today. It requires willpower. Everything that you plan to achieve today requires willpower. And the more you use willpower is the more you see that it's like the gas in your gas tank that someone has punched holes into with a sharp object. The more willpower you use, the more it diminishes each time throughout the day, because that's what happens to willpower. It requires energy. It requires focus. It requires listening purposefully. It requires you taking purposeful action to achieve your priority number 1 task first. Why is that? Because your priority number 1 task is what should be achieved first. But if you're afraid of achieving your priority number 1 task for today, what's going to happen? You're going to put other things that's not of high value in front of your priority task. If you look back over your life, you'll see that your priority tasks was pushed back to other days because it felt better, because you got a dopamine rush of, I'll do this tomorrow. It's taking too much of my energy to even think about the time it requires for me to achieve this priority task that I want to achieve. So I'll just do it tomorrow. And to be honest with you, the weather is not good. I'm not feeling really good. A lot of things are really stressing me out right now. I'll just take care of this tomorrow. And tomorrow becomes more real than today. And that's just a sad thing about a lot of people, because they chose not to study willpower. They chose not to demand that willpower be center in their life, because willpower is required to achieve your priority tasks. Whether the priority task is small or whether the priority task is so big that it requires a big chunk of today, such as 5 hours, 10 hours, 15 hours, planning, taking action, deleting a lot of things that need to be deleted so that you can focus on your number 1 thing, being courageous enough to take action purposefully, and choosing progress over perfection, finding powerful thoughts such as, I see only my objective, therefore all obstacles give way. Because at the end of the day, it's important to reflect back on what you were able to achieve and give yourself time to reflect on what you were able to achieve and see what ruled the day for you. Was it you drifting, or was it you giving direction, the star of your moments, purposefully? Because at the end of your day today, before you go to sleep tonight, look at what you were able to achieve. Because when you form the habit of reflecting on your day before you go to sleep tonight, when you form the habit of reviewing the highlights of your day, you're able to see which played a more dominant role in your life, drifting or you giving direction, the star role of the moments of your life. What was most predominant in your life today when you look back over your day? Was it you giving the role of drifting most of your attention, or was it you giving direction, the starring role of every moment of your life today, that you were conscious of direction, being the star of every moment, of every second of your day today, because that's what direction is. Direction is the star of every moment, of every second of your day. Direction is the star of every moment, of every second of our today. And that's why even if you don't choose perfectly every day what your number one task is, you can choose to do something purposefully because you know what's of value to you in your life. If you don't know what's important to you in your life, one thing is you can pray about it. You can have a list in front of you that you write down and ask the God force of the universe. You can ask the universal power of God, God, what do you want? What do you want this moment to be about in my life? As you look on the list that you've written and ask God to choose that number one priority task that it is that you must choose before moving on to priority number two, because that's how things happen. You choose number one first and ask God for guidance on what to do if you need to ask God for guidance on what to do so that you can aim correctly to achieve your priority number one task for today. And that's how you create the brand new identity of you, giving direction, the star role of every moment of your today, every day. And it happens through your direction of the actions that you're giving every moment, because you're either drifting or you have the steering wheel of actions being driven purposefully to achieve your priority task for this moment. And you need to become obsessed with seeing direction as the star of every moment of every second in your life. And the more obsessed you become with seeing how powerful direction is in your life every second of every moment, the more powerful direction can serve you through willpower to achieve your priority tasks every day, from priority number one to priority number two. And you don't move on from priority number one until you achieve priority number one. Whatever it takes to achieve your priority number one, whether it takes you praying about it and having God show you what moves to make, what actions to take with the direction that's the star of your role, whatever it takes, studying whatever it takes for you to see the power that direction plays in your life. And the more you study, the more obsessed you become with seeing how powerful the role is that direction plays in your life, is the more you'll see. Every time you're using direction to drift, or every time you're using direction to create the realities, to achieve the priority tasks that you want to achieve in your life. Because direction doesn't care whether you achieve your priority task for today or whether you drift. Direction is neutral. What matters most is the command that you give direction. And the only way that you can command instructions from your direction is when you're in the driving seat of your life and you have the steering wheel of direction as you're in the driving seat of your life, going towards achieving your priority number one tasks first, then moving on to your priority number two tasks onward. Because what we give our attention to expands into our reality. What controls our attention controls our life. And the more obsessed you become at giving direction the star role that it deserves, is the more you see your life come together the way it can come together, because you allow direction to be in the starring role of your life every second, every moment that you are conscious of. Every time you obsess about giving direction the star role that it deserves, every time you obsess about demanding direction to be the star of every second, of every moment, you're conscious, is every time you see your life come together more in your favor. Because if God be for you, who can be against you? No one. As you use courageous faith, as you form the habit of using your willpower to achieve your priority tasks through direction purposefully that you demand consciously, because direction is the star of every second, of every moment for you today. And this happened